All right, you guys, welcome to class. My name is Teacher Chad. This hour we are going to be practicing our reading and pronunciation as we read through a short story. The short story we're going to be taking a look at is entitled The Land of Fear, right? And the link can be found in the class material section as well as the Verbling and Google chat boxes. All right, let's see who we have in class so far. Hi there, Amparo. How you doing? Amparo, can you hear me okay? Nope, not so much. Okay. Well, let's wait for some others to run in. There we go. Hi,
Hi,
Amparo.
teacher.
There you are.
How
How
are
you
you?
doing? I'm doing well, thank you.
Doing well also.
Awesome. Good to have you here in class.
Good to see
How
you again.
are you recovering after your trip to the to Florida?
It was okay. The weather is almost the same,
Yeah,
except
it's just the
for
same.
because in Orlando a lot of storms, suddenly storms.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, but
Hmm.
it's pretty much the same, you know?
Yeah. Hmm.
All right. Now, was that your first time to Florida?
Yeah. Yeah. For
Okay.
me, yes. For my sister,
Okay.
was the second time.
The second time? Okay.
Hmm.
All right. Was
Hmm.
there anything that was surprising to you? Anything that you saw where you're like, oh, that's weird?
Well, a lot of people with a lot of tattoos.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah, everywhere.
Yeah, tattoos are pretty big right now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Very good. Let's see here. Victor, how you doing?
Hi, Chad.
Hi there.
I'm doing, I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Good to see you again.
Glad to see you as well.
All right. Here we go, you guys. All righty. Okay. All right. So, Victor, let's go ahead and start off with you. Please read from Once There Was a Girl. Okay. And read these first four paragraphs here down to the matter, please.
Once there was a girl named Elizabeth who had a most amazing adventure. She lived in a cottage with her father and two sisters. Their names were Ellen and Celesta. In the village of Brumbling, not far from the River of Fear. Now this was a terrible place where only the bravest of the most foolish people ever dared to go, for no one had ever returned. All sorts of things were whispered about it by the people of Brumbling. Some believed that there must be a dragon, and others spoke of a terrible sorcerer in a tall black tower. A few told stories of things even more frightening, but everyone else agreed that there was a treasure so wonderful and amazing that it could not even be described. Elizabeth had heard these things all her life long, and she burned with desire to know the real truth of the matter.
Okay. All right. Very good. Let's go to this last word here. Give me a good D here instead of mather. Okay. Pull your tongue off your teeth. It's matter.
Matter.
There you go. Good. Good. Next up is the word heard. Okay, instead of heard. Okay, Elizabeth had heard these things.
Elizabeth had heard these things.
Okay, one more time. Elizabeth had heard these things.
Elizabeth had heard these things.
Okay, very nice. Next up is the word tall. Instead of tall black tower, it's a tall black tower.
A tall black tower.
Okay, very nice. This word here, instead of dragon, it's dragon.
Dragon.
Okay, very nice. Next is all sorts. Right here. All sorts of things.
All sorts of things.
Okay, very nice. And your last one is the word lived. Okay, instead of she lived, she lived. Short I. She lived in a cottage.
She lived in a cottage.
Okay, nice job. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's see here. Amparo, let's have you read the next The next two paragraphs, please, from in those days down to tomorrow morning, please.
In those days a great war had been crumbling, and the village stood almost empty. Elizabeth was not old enough to help, and she had been left in the village with her older sister to tend the fields and the house. Their father was an excellent bowman, and had gone away with the army for a little while. Elizabeth knew that it was necessary, but she still felt lonely without father. For one thing, Aline and Celeste were not very kind to her. They seemed to think that Elizabeth should do all the nasty, tedious chores that they didn't want to do, and Aline especially would pinch her unmercifully. Elizabeth endured all this until the day the town crier ran through the village, shrieking that the barbarians had defeated the army of Brumblin, and that they now demanded a mountain of gold from the people by the end of the day, or they would utterly destroy the village at sunrise tomorrow morning.
Okay, nice job, nice job. Let's go to tomorrow. Give me good R's here instead of tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
There you go. Good, good. Next up is, okay, shrieking, long E sound. Instead of shrieking, shrieking.
Shrieking.
Okay, very nice. Next we have, okay, the word chores. Give me a good CH here. So tedious chores.
Tedious chores.
Okay, very nice. Next we have the word old. Okay, so up here, so Elizabeth was not old enough.
Elizabeth was not old enough.
Very good. And the last one, let's see, last one is, oh, it was Elizabeth. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because you were saying Elizabeth. Try that one more time with the short I. Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
Good, good. All right, nice job. Thank you. Okay, very good. Let's go to, let's see here. Ricardo, how you doing, Ricardo?
Hey, I'm doing great, thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Let's have you continue here where it says Eileen and Celeste. Okay, finish these two paragraphs, and let's have you read down to here where it says corner she could find, please.
Okay. Aline and Celeste wept and screamed when they heard this news, and immediately began packing bags to run as far away as possible. Elizabeth was angry with them for being so cowardly, and told them so. But Celeste only threw a bag at her and told her not to be a fool, and Aline pinched her arm hard enough to leave bruises. Elizabeth made up her mind that she would not run away from the barbarians with her sisters. She decided that she would herself get the mountain of gold that they demanded, by going into the forbidden lands near the river to find the treasure. Therefore she packed the bag Celeste had given her, but instead of waiting for her sisters, she slipped quietly out the back door and ran to the barn. The high loft was nearly full with fresh straw, which Elizabeth hid herself quite carefully in the darkest corner she could find.
Okay, all right, nice job, nice job. Now, this word is actually correct. Okay, they did not leave off the E. It is hid. It's past tense. So,
okay.
Elizabeth hid herself.
Elizabeth hid herself.
There you go. Good, good. Next up is the word hey instead of hi. Hey.
Hey.
Okay, very nice. Let's go to this word here instead of ran. It's ran, and ran to the barn.
And ran to the barn.
Okay, very nice. Next up is up here. Okay, we have the word barbarians. Barbarians.
Barbarians.
Okay, all right, very good. Next is the word cowardly instead of coward. Coward, cowardly.
Cowardly.
All right, very good. And your last one here is screamed. Give me a SC instead of ST. It's screamed.
Screamed.
Okay, all right, nice job. Nice job. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chad.
hmm Okay, very good. Let's continue with, let's see, Daniel. Hey, Daniel, welcome to class.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Can you hear me?
Let me have you, yeah, I can. Let me have you continue from Aline and Celeste. Never visited, so finish this paragraph. Read here, and let's have you come down to here where it says to the river before too long. So right here.
Alright. Aline and Celeste never visited the barn if they could help it, for they hated to get dirty, and Celeste especially was afraid of the cows. Elizabeth herself rather liked the animals. She had spent many mornings feeding them and collected the milk. It wasn't long before she heard Aline calling her name, and shortly after that she heard her sister's footsteps running to the wire. "Beth," she called, so loud that Elizabeth could imagine her standing right under the hayloft. She kept very quiet until she heard Aline go away. That didn't take long, for, for she knew Aline wouldn't spend any more time looking for her than she had to. As soon as she was as, she, as soon as she was sure Aline was gone, Elizabeth left the barn and walked briskly to the little creek that flowed behind their house. It wasn't much more than 10 feet across, and she immediately began to follow it downstream, for she knew it would lead her to the river before too long.
Okay, all right, very good, very good. All right, let's take a look here. First up, we have 10 feet across. So here, let's use a flap T instead of 10 feet across. It's 10 feet across.
10 feet across.
Feta, 10 feet across.
10 feet across.
There you go. Good, good. Next up is, okay, so this one was a little tricky. All right, so, okay, looking for, then she had to. Okay, so we can drop the H on had. Okay, you did pretty well with for her. Okay, so instead of for, okay, switch for to fur. Okay, so looking for, then she had to, so it's fur.
Looking for that she had to.
Good, one more time. Looking for, then she had to.
Looking for then she had to.
Okay, very nice. Next is, okay, this one you'd miss that, well, you got the H, you dropped the H, but you'd stopped. Just remember, when you're dropping the H, you have to continue right through the word to the her. Okay, so Elizabeth could imagine her standing right under.
Elizabeth could imagine her standing right under.
Just like that. Okay, good. Next is, okay. Okay, so we're working on this this apostrophe S here. So she heard her sister's footsteps. She heard her sister's footsteps.
She heard her sister's footsteps.
Okay, give me a good D instead of heard her. She heard her she heard her sister's footsteps.
She heard her sister's footsteps.
Good, good. And one other one here. All right, the word many. I don't think we actually ever went over this word, but the word Annie and Manny, okay, those A's Okay, the A's change to short E's.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so instead of saying Annie and Manny, it's any and many.
Many.
So she had spent many mornings.
She had spent many mornings. Many.
Many,
Many.
many.
She had spent many mornings.
Good, good. There you go. Nice job. Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so before too long, all right, let's go back to Victor.
Okay.
Okay, Victor, please read from That Was a Good Thing. Finish this paragraph, read this one here, and come down to, yeah, just go ahead and finish this one. We'll read larger chunks since there's only 4 of us tonight. Go ahead and read that there, Victor.
That was a good thing, for she had no wish to become lost in the woods on her way there. Indeed, it wasn't very long at all before the creek entered the edge of the forest and lost itself among the tall, dark trees. Elizabeth had never been inside the forest before, for it was far too near the river for anyone's comfort, and there were the most horrifying stories told about what went on there. One of these stories in particular was on Elizabeth's mind as she looked at the opening. Her aunt, her Aunt Cherry had told her long ago that there were ghouls that haunted the woods, hideous beasts wrapped in rotten grave clothes who waited with dripping mouths to kill and eat anyone who ventured into the darkness under the trees. Elizabeth had pretended not to be scared at the time, but now she couldn't help wondering if there might not really be something in there after all. The woods looked very dark and scary.
Okay, very good, very good. All right, let's go to 4 words. First up, instead of hideous, it's hideous, hideous.
Hideous.
Okay, very good, very good. Next up is the word particular. So the U is an EU sound. Particular.
Particular. Particular.
Okay, good. So one of the stories in particular was on Elizabeth's mind.
One of these stories in particular was on Elizabeth's mind.
There you go. Good. Next is, okay, the word river. Give me a short I. River.
River.
Okay, very nice. Okay, one more time. River.
River.
Okay, good. Okay, and this is the last one for you, is the T sound in at all. Okay, now your tongue moved forward and touched your teeth, so you had said athol. Okay, so we can say at all. Okay, so there you go. So indeed, it wasn't very long at all.
Indeed, it wasn't very long at all.
There you go. One more time. Indeed, it wasn't very long at
Indeed,
all.
it wasn't very long at all.
Great, great. Nice job. Thank you.
Thank you, Chad.
Okay, let's go to Amparo. All right, Amparo, please read from excuse me. However.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead and finish this paragraph, and let's have you read down to here where it says had no path to follow,
However,
please.
while she hesitated at the edge, she suddenly heard the very last thing she wanted to hear. "Beth!" came Celeste's voice, somewhere not too far behind her. Elizabeth made up her mind quickly. Without even looking back to see how close Celeste might be, she took off running toward the wood as fast as she could go. She could move very quickly when she wanted to, and it was no more than a few seconds before she felt the trees close in around her. She didn't stop even then, but continued running along the creek bank until the edge of the wood was far behind her. Celeste would never follow her among the trees, of that she was certain. She hadn't forgotten about the ghouls, but she determined to go ahead anyway. The creek gurgled and bubbled placidly along beside her while she walked, and after a few hours, during which he saw no wolves at all, Elizabeth, uh, Elizabeth came abruptly to the bank of the river. The creek flowed out past a little cottonwood tree and lost itself in the main current, so that she now had no path to follow.
Okay, very good. All right, let's go to the word flowed instead of flowed. Flowed.
Flowed,
Very good. Next, we have the word gurgled. Let's try that. Gurgled.
gurgle,
Okay, all right, give me a D here at the end. We're going to say gurgled and. Okay, so the creek gurgled and bubbled.
the creek gurgled and bubbled.
Yeah, that's a terrible word. That is not fun to say at all. Okay, good job, good job. All right, we're gonna leave that one there because we really don't say that at all. It's not like yeah, whatever. Okay, let's go to the word among instead. Whoops, right here instead of among. Okay, give me an sound. Among.
Among,
So follow her among the trees.
follow her among the trees.
Good, good. All right, give me a good R on this next one. So move very quickly.
Move very quickly.
Okay, good. Next up is Celeste's. Okay,
Celeste,
so yeah, I know. Celeste's voice.
Celeste voice.
Okay, give me one more time. Celeste's voice.
Celeste voice.
Okay, good. And okay, last one. Instead of suddenly, it's suddenly.
Suddenly.
Okay, good. So she suddenly heard.
She suddenly heard.
Good, good, much better. Awesome. Thank you.
Yes.
hmm Okay, let's go to Ricardo. Ricardo, I keep wanting to call you Javier, and so I look at you and I go, I know his name's not Javier. I just can't remember his name. I don't know why. I think it's because whenever you come in, see, because Ricardo, you're from Ecuador, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And the other guy, Javier, I believe he's either from. I think he's
From
from.
Mexico, I think.
Is it Mexico? He's the one that has the red shirt on with like the lake behind him in the picture, something like that. Yeah, and so I don't. Your faces don't look that similar. I think it's mainly because in both pictures, it's like your guys' face is the first thing that comes out, and so I don't know why. I can, your name is Javier, and so each time I'm like, okay, up next is.
Hi.
Hey, what's up, man? All right, very cool. So let's have you take care of these two paragraphs here. So from there was a sort of beach down to looked at her, please.
Okay. Okay. There was a sort of beach at the place where she stood of rocks and sand. The river was nothing special as far as Elizabeth could tell. There was certainly nothing scary or unusual about it. Since she had come back out into the daylight, the whole idea of ghosts and magic had begun to seem rather silly again. She looked up and down the bank without seeing anything to give her a goal to move toward. So she sat down on the worn sand to think about it a while. Elizabeth had often gone down to the creek to play in the sand or skip rocks on the water if she could find any good ones, and she began absent-mindedly tossing pebbles into the river while she thought about what to do. The current must have been swift, for it snatched away the ripples almost as soon as they formed. She hadn't been doing this for very long when a huge silver fish came to the top of the water and looked at her.
Okay, all right, good. Let's try that last little part right there. So it's looked at her, looked at her.
Looked at her.
Good, yeah. So switch that T to a flat T or a D sound, right? So one more time, looked at her.
Looked at her.
Good. And notice when I say at, I'm really not saying ah and opening up my mouth really wide for the A, it's et, looked at her.
Looked at her.
Just like that, okay? And in
Okay.
most cases, you can switch the word at to it, okay? And
Okay.
depending on if you're using a stop T like it or adder, okay, using the flap T, okay?
Okay.
All right, good. I heard you, so two really cool things. I heard you combining a lot more, okay, as well as dropping your H's on a lot of the pronouns there, okay? Also, much better job with the word the. Yeah, I didn't hear any that were off.
Cool.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really good. Okay. All right, let's go to. Okay. Where'd you go? Okay. This word here, instead of tossing, it's tossing
To-
pebbles.
okay. Tossing pebbles.
Okay, good. So let's try this whole thing here. Absent-mindedly tossing pebbles.
Absent-mindedly tossing pebbles.
Okay, very nice. Okay. All right, let's go to the word. Okay, now, after play, you added a T sound or a D sound. Okay, so we're going to say the creek to play in the sand or skip rocks. Okay, so you want to say play in the. Okay, so you're going to combine those together. The creek to play in the sand or skip rocks.
The creek to play in the sand or skip rocks.
Okay, very good. Okay, just like that, right?
Okay.
Okay, just remember that these little words in, the, or, to, okay, those ones are not very important. So you don't have to worry as much about the vowel sounds in those.
Yeah.
Okay? All right,
Okay.
let's go to, okay, the word gone right here. Instead of, you said it right the first time and then you switched it. Okay, so it is an ah sound, gone.
Gone.
Okay, very good. Next up, this one was really, really close. I almost didn't write it down, but I thought, what the heck? Okay, so here, the word is scary. Okay, here you had started off saying scur. It was more of a scurry. Okay, so instead of scur, starting off with that it's an a. Scare, scary.
Scurry.
Good. One more time. Scary.
Scary.
There you go. Good. Okay. And your last one is special. This one, yes, you had said spatial. Instead of spatial, it's special.
Special.
Good. Yeah, if you say spatial, spatial has to do with having a lot of space in a place.
Okay.
Okay, you switch it to a short e, that becomes something that's different and wonderful, special. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Very good.
Thank you, John.
Okay. Nice job. Thank you. Okay, let's go to Daniel.
Yep.
All right, Daniel, let me have you read from I Do Wish. Okay, here, you're going to read just a chunk here, man. Yeah, go ahead and read all these. These are all spaced out, down to disapprovingly. Okay, so everything here.
Alright. I do wish you would quit dropping rocks into my bedroom. The fish growled in a bubbly, fishy, sour voice. I'm sorry, I didn't know you were there, Elizabeth said, too startled to think of anything else to say. What? You didn't know that fish used to live in the river? The fish demanded, insulted. No, I mean, yes, I did know that. I just never thought about it before, Elizabeth admitted. The fish grumbled. Well, I forgive you just this once, since you're only a girl and couldn't possibly be expected to know any better. But yet this did not happen ever again. Now Elizabeth thought the fish was being very rude, and she stood up to tell him so. Just as she reached the edge of the water, she twisted her ankle on a loose stone and fell down. It hurt fairly badly, and she began to rub it. This clumsy as well as stupid, the fish commented, watching her. Elizabeth lost her patience, for she disliked rude and insensitive people. You could at least ask if I was all right. I might have broken my ankle, you know. She told him disapprovingly.
Okay, very good. We had a lot of complicated series of words here, right? Okay.
Yep.
Nice, nice. Okay, this is a good exercise for you guys. This story's pretty good. Okay, let's try this word right here. It's disapprovingly. Disapprovingly.
Disapprovingly.
Okay, one more time. Disapprovingly.
Disapprovingly.
Okay, very good. All right, let's go to. Okay, let's try. If I was all right. Okay, so let's work on the word was here. Okay, you could at least. Okay, you could at least ask if I was. Okay, so you could at least ask if I was all right.
You could at least ask if I was alright.
You could at least ask if I was all right.
You could at least ask if I was alright.
There you go. I was all right. That sounded much better. Okay, this word here is pronounced commented. The stress is at the very beginning, so we leave that O as an ah sound. Commented. One more time.
Commented.
Commented. Okay, good. Here, this word is pronounced ankle instead of uncle. Ankle.
Ankle.
Okay, good. And another pronunciation. This is stood instead of stewed. Stood.
Stood.
Good. So she stood up to tell him.
She stood up to tell him.
Good. Okay. All right. Let's get into some here. So, but it had best not. All right. Okay. So, but it had, or you can drop the H. But it had. Okay. But it had best not happen. But it had best not happen never again.
But it had best not happen never again.
One more time. But it had best not happen ever again. I'm dropping the T on best. Best not happen never again.
But it had best not happen again. That best not happen ever again.
Okay, all right, one last time. But it had best not. Wow, it's tough. But it had best not happen ever again.
But it had best not happen again. Not happen ever again.
There you go. Good, good. Okay, let's try another one here. I just never. Okay, I just never thought about it before. Okay, so I'm gonna go ba-da-dum, ba-da-da-da-da-dum. Okay, so it's gonna come all the way down, right? So I just never thought about it before.
I just never thought about it before.
Okay, good. I just never thought about it before.
I just never thought about it before.
Okay, good. Now this is a phrase that that we say kind of in that tone of voice. All right. I don't know. I just never thought about it before.
Okay.
Okay. So it just kind of rolls out that way. Okay. It's just like, okay. That's how we say that phrase. Okay. And one last one is sort of voice. So a fishy sorta. Okay. Instead of sort of. Okay. Sort of voice. Fishy sort of voice.
Fishy sort of voice.
Give me a good V. Fishy sort of voice.
Sort of voice.
Okay.
Voice.
Sort of voice. Good. All right. Nice job. Thank you.
Question, chat.
Sure. What's up?
Why fishes? It's supposed to be a fish, right?
It's wrong. This is wrong. It's a typo. Or it's a child writing this. It doesn't sound like a child, but yeah. Unless
that's a common mistake of Americans, native speakers.
No, it's a common mistake for children.
Okay.
Yeah. So unless the person writing the story, and this is why. I mean, I don't think it's unless it's a complete amateur, because if you're writing this on Word and you write fishes, it would underline it as red. It's not a word. Okay. But unless they were trying to make it seem like the fish doesn't really know how to speak very well. Okay, so it's like if you've seen the movie Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Gollum, the creature.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they make him speak in a sort of way which is kind of crazy.
Okay,
Right?
okay.
It's not grammatically correct. So that's the only thing that I can think of because what up here we had the word absent-mindedly, and children don't use absent-mindedly. Okay, so that's the only thing that I can think of when I saw that. I was like, come on, people, it's not fishes, right? But
Right.
okay, yeah, but yeah, you're exactly right. It should just be fish.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Okay, good. No problem. All right, let's go to Victor.
Okay.
All right, Victor, let's have you read from But You Didn't. Okay, finish these two here and read here down to polite. Okay, she ought to be polite, please.
But you didn't, now did you? He asked her cheerfully, as if that solved the whole matter. She was still trying to think how to reply to such a question when the fish went on without waiting for her answer. Still, you might have an idea. That could be a nasty bruise later on. I'd better get you something for it, he said, almost to himself. Before she could reply, he disappeared under the water again. The fish wasn't actually gone very long, but Elizabeth did have time to stand up and put some weight on her ankle. The pain was too much to bear, and it forced her to sit down again. Before long the fish reappeared, holding a thin sliver of what looked like beaver wood in its mouth. He spit it out on the beach, then coughed up a bit of mucus and blew it into the water. Elizabeth looked at him with disgust. "Well, are you going to pick up the stick or what?" the fish asked her impatiently. Truthfully, Elizabeth would rather have had nothing else to do with the fish, but she decided that if he meant to help her, she ought to be polite.
Okay, very good, very good. All right. Now, awesome job with this word. Have you seen that word before? Mucus?
Mucus, yeah?
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, I was like, wow, that was either a super good guess or you've seen the word before. I was like, what the?
I heard that.
Oh, you have? Okay, good. No, that's great. That was great. Really cool. All right, let's take a look here. First up, I did want to mention your flap T's. Okay, your flap T's are sounding really good this time around. Like later, matter. Okay, you're really
Well,
placing your tongue better as well. You're placing your tongue in a great spot. It sounds really good.
water.
Water as well. The only thing with water, I wrote down water because you had said water. Whoa. Okay, so we want to say an ah sound. Okay, water, water.
Water.
Just like that. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's go to impatiently instead of impatient. Impatiently.
Impatiently.
Okay. Very nice. Next is ankle instead of uncle. Where'd you go?
Ankle. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in there someplace.
I read, then I realized I
Yeah.
made
Okay.
mistake.
Yeah. No worries. No worries. Okay. We already worked on water. And the only other one is okay. So here's another trick. I don't think. Oh goodness gracious! Get you. Okay. All right. So okay. For you guys out there. So when you have a word, okay, that ends with a T and the next word starts with a Y, okay, the T changes to CH. Okay, so it's get you. Okay.
Get you.
Uh-huh.
Get
So
you.
it's get you like that. Okay. Now, get you. When the word ends with a D, and then the next word is you, or it starts with a Y. Okay. It's Jew. It's a J sound. Okay. So hand you. So if I have the word hand you, it's like hand you, like that. Hand you.
Hand you.
Okay, so that Y sound makes the T and the D sound change. Okay, just a little bit. So let's try that here, Victor. So it'd be, I'd better get you something. I'd better get you something for it.
I'd better get you something for it.
Good. One more time. I'd better get you something for it.
I'd better get you something for it.
Great. Okay, just like that. Okay, nice job. Nice job. Thank you.
Thank you, Chad.
No problem.
Catch
Catch it. Okay, let's go to Amparo. Okay, Amparo, please read from She Reached Out. Okay, finish this paragraph. This is going to be tricky. I got to count. Let's see here. Okay, I think if we come down to here, we should be pretty good. Yeah, okay, so read down to where it says, hand him back the stick, please.
She reached out and picked up the beaver stick. It was still slimy from the fish's mouth and from whatever nasty place it had been taken from. She held it with distaste. Well, aren't you going to use it? The fish demanded. What's it for? And how am I supposed to use it? She asked, getting annoyed herself now. I would have thought even a little girl would know what to do with that, the fish told her. She could almost imagine him rolling his eyes at her if he had had any eyelids. But never mind, touch the stick to your ankle, he told her. Elizabeth did so, and instantly the pain disappeared. She stood up carefully to test it out, and to her surprise, she found that her ankle was completely well again. She looked up at the fish. "Thank you," she told him, and meant it. "Well, I couldn't have a leather bug rolling around on my doorstep all day," the fish muttered. Elizabeth was willing to tolerate his roughness now, so she let it pass. She started to hand him back the stick.
Okay, very good. All right, let's try that last sentence one more time. She started to hand him back the stick.
She started to hand him back the stick.
Okay, very good. All right. Okay, let's try some flap T's here. Okay, so we have to test it out. Okay, so instead of pronouncing all of those T's, okay, we want to say carefully to test it out, to test it out.
Carefully to test it out.
Good, good, just like that. Okay, all right. Let's practice also dropping some H's as we go along here. Okay, all right. So touch the stick to your ankle, he told her.
Touch the stick to your ankle, he told her.
Good, just like that. Yeah. So if told in her or told in him, okay, drop that H. Told her, told him. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Next up is you were right. Okay, the first time it's slimy.
Slimy. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right, and the last one here, instead of Justin Bieber. Okay, beaver. Okay, so the beaver stick.
The beaver stick.
There you go. One more time. The beaver stick.
The beaver stick.
Okay, good, good. Yeah. Now, look for those chances, and you do it every once in a while. Okay, but not all the time. So yeah, I would slowly take a look at a couple of words. Okay, so you can practice dropping those H's. Her is a great one. So and maybe his or him. Okay, and so just whenever you see those words, try and drop those H's and combine them a little bit more. It sounds a little bit more natural. Okay, instead of always pronouncing those H's. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, very good. Thank you. Okay, stick. All right, let's go to Ricardo. Ricardo Javier. Okay. All right, let's see here. So let me have you read from No. Okay, finish this paragraph. Read this next one, and come down to here where it says strong to think of swimming. Try that.
Okay. No, no, you kept it messy. I don't need it anymore, he grumbled. Elizabeth slipped a stick into her pocket and fastened the bottom, and while she was thinking about what else to say to the fish, he suddenly disappeared back into the river without so much as a flick on his tail to say good-bye. "Well, Mr. Fish, I'll certainly remember not to throw any more rocks into your bedroom," she said to herself, looking at the spot where the fish had disappeared. A few bubbles were coming up from somewhere below, but she couldn't tell if he heard her or not. After a while Elizabeth realized she couldn't stand on the bank all day. She had to find some way to keep going. Upstream was a thicket of bamboo which looked so tangled and heavy that she doubted she could ever get through it. Behind her was the owl-haunted forest, and she was still uneasy about going back in there. Ahead of her was the river, much too wide and strong to think of swimming.
Okay. All right. Nice job. Nice job. Okay. So you started to employ more of those drop H's on like her and whatnot. Okay. You got a lot of them. Okay. But there we have her all over the place in this story. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So for example, ahead of her. Okay. You can do that right here as well. It's not always after a D sound. It's all the time. Okay.
Okay.
If the word her is in the middle of the sentence, okay, and it does not start a sentence or it's not following a comma, we can drop it. Okay, we can
Okay.
drop that H. Okay, so try this one here. So ahead of her was the river.
Ahead of her was the river.
Okay, ahead of her was the river.
Ahead of her was the river.
Okay, very good. Let's go to, let's see here. Okay, so here, when you have two consonants that are the same, we create one sound. So instead of saying she was a still, okay, she
Mhm.
was still. She was still uneasy.
She was still uneasy.
Good, good. Nice vowel sound on was. All right. Let's go to. All right. This is a great one right here. Okay, so we can also drop the H on he. All right. So this whole chunk we can do a lot with.
Huh.
Okay. So but she. So we're gonna use a stop T here. But she couldn't. Okay. Couldn't tell if he heard her or not. Okay. Stop T at the end. If he heard her or not. Okay. So but she couldn't tell if he heard her or not.
But but she couldn't tell. Okay. But she couldn't tell if you heard it or not.
Okay. All right. One more time. But she couldn't tell if he heard her or not.
But she couldn't tell if he heard her or not.
So let's try these words right here. So if he heard her or not.
If he heard her or not.
Okay. If he heard her.
Okay. If he heard that or not.
Okay, good, good. Yeah, this will be a great one to a great line to practice. Okay, to really
Yes.
get control of the tongue. Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next one is she said to herself. Okay, so right here. All right, practicing going from an sh into an s and then dropping the h on her. So she said to herself. She said to herself.
She said to herself.
Okay, one more time. She said to herself.
She said to herself.
Okay, good. Next up is okay. So this is the only th I've heard you goof on. Okay, so instead of without, without.
Without.
Good. One more time. Without.
Without.
Okay, very good. All right. Next is the word fastened. Okay, the T is silent. We do not pronounce it. Fastened.
Fastened.
Okay, very nice. And the last one is the word keep. Okay, give me a long E sound here. You keep it, you keep it.
You keep it.
Okay, very nice, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chad.
No problem. Okay, let's go to Daniel.
Yep.
All right, let's go to and so. Okay, finish this paragraph, read this next one, and come down to here where it says keep her footing.
All right. And so she said to herself, "There really leaves only one way left. Downstream, it is." In that direction the rocky beach went on for quite some time, and Elizabeth followed it. Now and then she had to stop and dump sand and pebbles out of her shoes, but otherwise the going wasn't too difficult. Eventually, though, she came to a knot of wild thorn trees that completely blocked the way. Elizabeth wasn't anxious to go in among the thorn trees, because they were wickedly sharp. The river looked a bit shallower near the edge, and she decided after much thought to try wading in the shallows until she got past the thorn thicket. Then maybe she could continue on her way. She took off her shoes and held them so they wouldn't get wet, and then gingerly stepped into the water. It was warm as summer, not freezing cold as she had expected it would be. The bottom seemed to be mostly grey gravel in that place, which made it easy to keep her footing.
Okay, all right. Now that last word, instead of footing, it's footing.
Ooh, footing.
There you go. Okay, one more time. Footing.
Footing. No.
Okay, good. All right, let's go to she took off her. Okay, right here. She took off her shoes.
She took off her shoes.
Good. One more time. She took off her shoes.
She took off her shoes.
Great. Nice skip on took. Yeah, took off. Okay. Let's go to. Okay, waiting. So this is going to be a long A sound. Waiting in the shallows.
Waiting in the shallows.
One more time. Waiting in the shallows.
Waiting in the shallows.
Okay, good. All right, let's try this one here. Wickedly sharp. Okay, so because they were wickedly sharp.
Because they were wickedly sharp. Wickedly sharp.
Yeah, that one's a tough one. That's a tough one. Wickedly sharp.
Wickedly sharp.
Yeah, on this one, it's not a verb. Okay, so this adjective, sorry, is no. Yeah. Okay, so we are going to be we're the ed rules. Okay, is not going to are not going to apply here. Okay, so because they were wickedly sharp.
Because they were wickedly sharp.
Okay, that's wickedly.
Wickedly.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Let's go to the word. Okay, not. Oh, this is terrible. I hate this one. Okay, so this one's tough. Okay, so we have the D leading into the word thorn and then trees. Okay, so she came to a knot of wild thorn trees.
Oh wow. Okay, she came to a knot of wild thorn trees.
Okay, a knot of wild thorn trees. So with the D, do not end the D. Mush the D into the TH. Wild thorn trees.
Wild thorn, a knot of wild thorn. She came to a knot of wild thorn trees.
Okay, now when we do that though, okay, we have to fake the D, and that's the sound. Okay, the sound that we are going to place. The sound that we're going to place right there it is. Okay, right here. So wild, that sound right there. Wild thorn.
Wild thorn.
That's the D. Okay, so the D is there, but it's hidden in that sound. Okay, so wild Wild thorn trees.
Wild thorn trees.
Good, good. One more time. Wild thorn trees.
Wild thorn trees.
Good. That's how we fake the D, you guys. Okay, so even though it's not really pronounced in there, we're not finishing the D sound, we still have to use a voiced sound to fake the D being there. Because if we just say wild thorn, okay, it sounds funky, right? So that's why that needs to pop out of there. Okay? All right, and all I'm doing with that, I'm placing my tongue against the top of my mouth, and I'm going. That's the sound. Okay. All right, let's go to. Sorry, it's frozen. Okay. And. Okay, wild thorn trees. Okay, last one here. Followed it. Okay, give me a good D instead of followed it. Okay, followed it. And Elizabeth followed it.
And Elizabeth followed it. Followed it. Followed
Okay.
it.
Yeah, move your tongue back instead of that, dit. And Elizabeth followed it.
And Elizabeth followed it.
There you go. Good, good. All right, nice job. Nice job. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, you guys. So we've only got a couple of minutes left. I'm going to pause it here so I can run to the bathroom before my next class. But thank you guys for coming in. We had gobs of reading. Okay, gobs of reading done. Excellent work. Work on. So today it was any and many. Okay, switching that to a short e sound. The T and the word and the word you. Okay, and the D words ending in D and the word you. Okay, how you can change those two, and then working on drop H's. Cool.
Mhm.
All right, you guys. Nice job. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, teacher,
Thank
take
you
care.
very
Take
much,
care.
John.
No
Bye
Bye-bye.
problem.
bye.
See you.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.